I saw a video the other day of Venezuelan citizens walking down the street at night, literally looking for dogs so they can eat. What is happening in Venezuela is remarkable, and it is a socialist utopia the way they always end. There's a humanitarian crisis going on right now in Venezuela, some of which I can't talk to you about. There are things going on right now that people are being literally smuggled out at night because they're being targeted as groups. As I look at this and see what's going on, and now the press is starting to say, "Oh, you know what this is? This is what happens when you go to nationalism and populism." No, that's not what this is. This is communism. This is socialism. This is what happens. And quite honestly, this is the road that we've been headed on for a very long time. Debbie D'Souza joins us now in the program. Hi, Debbie. How are you?
Hi, Glenn. First of all, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for talking about Venezuela for all these years. I've listened to you for years, and you have been right on target with the situation in Venezuela from the very beginning. And I want to thank you for that, because not very many people talk about it. They ignore it. You know, Venezuela is only a couple of thousand miles away from us.
I know.
And, they have not talked about it at all. And like you say, they say it's something other than what it is. And it is downright socialism, and this is what it looks like. This is the ugly side of socialism, which actually I don't know that there's a pretty side to it. But this is when who was it, Thatcher, that said the problem with socialism is eventually you run out of other people's money. Exactly. This
is that point where eventually you run out of money.
Absolutely. And Venezuela, you know, I was born in Venezuela in 1966. It was a thriving country. It's an oil-rich country. So, we had all of the amenities that you could think of. The birth rate in Venezuela, obviously, when I was born, was high. Now, babies born in Venezuela, the birth rate has gone down because the death rate has gone way up for babies born, because Hugo Chavez, as you said, destroyed the healthcare system, trying to make everybody pay for it. Well, when people started leaving the country, when doctors started leaving the country, there was no one to pay for it.
And then when he had a thriving oil company oil industry, and when he took that over and nationalized oil, that went through the ground.
He nationalized everything: telecommunications, energy. The left in Venezuela is also into the whole climate change thing, and so they basically started doing wattage allotments for people. So if you went over your allotted wattage at the end of the month, you had to pay like a 200% tax increase on top of your bill. And, so people stopped using blow dryers. They stopped using, it was ridiculous. Of course, now Debbie, it's just awful.
Debbie, when you see this is a narco-communist state.
Uh-huh.
This is a communist state now that has ties to terror, ties to Iran, ties to Hezbollah.
Mm-hmm.
The current president is going to Citibank, and it's going to be one of the biggest robberies of all time, or at least this century, where he is now going to sell all of the Venezuelan gold reserve. And you hear people on TV say this is populism, which is clearly wrong and clearly trying to make a point that is anti-Donald Trump. How does that make people in Venezuela feel?
Well, those people that get it in Venezuela are huge Donald Trump fans. They're in fact, they've asked me to tell you and the viewers, please please, Donald Trump, do something. Either, embolden the opposition. We're not asking for military intervention. It's actually that bad. But we want to embolden the opposition.
Who is the opposition that could fix this?
The opposition leader right now is Enrique Capriles. It's basically made up of different political parties that are all on the right side of the ideological chart. So, in other words, when COPE, which was it was basically the equivalent of the Republican Party, self-destructed. This is what gave way to Hugo Chavez. This is the reason Hugo Chavez was able to come in and take over the country, is the right of Venezuela just completely self-destructed. And so then they kind of started picking up the pieces and splintered off into just a bunch of different political groups. And so they all got together and called themselves the opposition. And so Enrique Capriles basically has run for president twice. And we believe that the last time he actually won, but there was voter fraud. And so basically, it was either last week or a couple of weeks ago, they banned him from running for any type of office. I mean, can you imagine? So they are afraid of this man. So him, and then there's a woman. She's a congresswoman named Maria Corina Machado, who's also opposition party, and they have actually blamed the death of this young girl. I sent you a video. This girl who was killed by thugs who basically are helping run the country. These are called colectivos. It's basically a civilian army that Hugo Chavez established based off of criminals who he pardoned. Mm-hmm. And so they're murderers, they're rapists, they run amok all over the city, killing people, raping women, doing whatever they want.
This happens, and this is why Haiti can't get back up on its feet, because they have the same kind of thing happening in Haiti.
Yes, so this is huge. The colectivos they're feared, and I don't know if you know this, but in 2010, there was a disarmament movement for citizens of Venezuela. So they started taking away guns of citizens, and so now citizens do not have guns, but these colectivos do, and also, of course, the armed forces of Venezuela is also part of the regime. So they're the National Guard, and of course they have guns, and then these thugs have guns, but the citizens don't have anything. And so I want to make it very clear that when you see, fighting in the streets and these kids throwing Molotov cocktails and all of that, these aren't the same type of thugs that are like wreaking havoc here on
Berkeley.
Inaugural, Berkeley and all that. No, this is the exact opposite. Actually, those thugs are the thugs that have the guns in Venezuela, the left. And
Debbie,
so
we're talking to Debbie D'Souza, Dinesh D'Souza's wife, who is from Venezuela. Her family is in Venezuela. I remember I was coming back from South Africa, and I was supposed to go speak in Venezuela. I don't remember, it was like the National Theater or something, and there was a group of pastors from all over Central and South America. And Hugo Chavez said, "You're not going to speak there," and put armed military around. By the time I landed to refuel in North Africa, they said, "Don't come," the people who invited me, because he's going to put military around the theater. So I actually had to land in, I think, Jamaica, wasn't it, Pat? And we cut my message and had somebody smuggle it in on videotape into Venezuela. Now, that was 5 or 6 years ago. Yeah. I mean, we're talking now, I'm dealing with people now trying to help smuggle people out of Venezuela who are being targeted as groups. I mean, it's a dangerous place now.
It is awful. My 82-year-old aunt, and I'm only saying this, I'm just throwing this out there, but she's in Miami right now. But the rest of my family is still in Venezuela, and I don't know what to do. I mean, this is so bad. Ted Cruz's dad, Rafael, married Dinesh and I, and I reached out to him in 2014 because this is when people started taking it to the streets back in 3 years ago. And he was trying to help. But, of course, it was the Obama administration who was in bed with these people. And so, what people don't get is Hugo Chavez hated Bush. He hated Reagan. He hates he hated any Republican, as Maduro does. And so, I just don't understand how people do not see that the left uses the same exact tactics in Venezuela. They blame the right for everything that's going wrong.
This is 1950s, 60s Cuba on what's going on, right?
Absolutely. And the other thing too is that Cuba basically owns Venezuela now.
Yeah.
Maduro is close friends with the Castro brothers. Obviously, one of them has passed away, but the other one Raul. Yes. They're buddy, and they are. So basically, he's helping him run Venezuela, and so you've seen.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is this something that we could see a Reagan moment? That if Donald Trump was empowering, not using force, just making the speech of Gorbachev, tear down this wall, and empowering, like the Pope did, empowering the solidarity movement in Poland.
Absolutely. The Reagan doctrine is what we want. Empowering the people that are being oppressed right now in Venezuela, the opposition party, helping them somehow, reach the level of being able to get out of this. I just don't know. Short of a military coup, I just don't know how else to remove this man from office, and to help the Venezuelans. I mean, this crisis has reached a level of I've never seen it like this before. I mean, it's just horrific.
They really are. There's no food.
And no food, nothing. I mean, these people are, for the most part, they hoard food, and they grow their own food because they have to. My aunt was going from grocery store to grocery store just to find milk, just to find eggs. She basically had to go vegan, and I mean, it's really, really horrific.
Yeah, I will tell you that I've seen reports where people will line up starting at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and sometimes at midnight, hoping that there would be a delivery for the store. And when that door opens, whether you need it or not, it's Germany stuff. Whether you need it or not, you buy whatever is on the shelf.
Absolutely. And Glenn, this is also, people are, say, well, Debbie, why should we care about Venezuela? Well, I tell you why you should care. Number one, if it's destroyed, it's going to just become a hotbed for all these terrorists that are in bed with the with the regime. They already have. And this is from reports from people that are in Venezuela that tell me that they see things in Farsi. There's airplanes coming from Iran that are landing, from Tehran, that are landing in the Maiquetía, Venezuela, Caracas airport daily. What are they doing? Yeah. Basically, they're up to no good. And so if we create this situation where there's going to be a huge vacuum in Venezuela, no telling. Yes.
Yeah. Debbie, I've got to run, but thank you so much for this update. We're going to continue to follow it, and please let us know how we can help.
Thank you.
You bet.
Just have Trump help. I mean, I don't know. We're desperate. We are desperate. Thank you so much, Glenn.
Thank you. Debbie D'Souza, following on the crisis in Venezuela.
Luckily, Trump always listens to you, so.